to the 128KB podcast with AJ.
That's me.
From our PlayStation channel.
I am.
And me, Andy, from our Nintendo/Steam Deck channel.
I like that we've had to add the slash now.
I know.
Basically, Andy bought a Steam Deck. Now it's /Steam Deck.
It is what it is.
I was trying to describe it to someone the other day.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's the Switch channel /Steam Deck.
But today, we're talking about Nintendo.
We are.
And something that people have not been very, very happy about.
And understandably, Andy.
Yeah.
And also justifiably that it exists.
Yeah.
That is there a limit to the price? Because Nintendo have announced that the new Zelda game is going to be £60, am I right?
Yeah, or $70. So they've basically
$70.
10 quid more or $10 more. So Tears of our Kingdom are now Tears of our wallets.
So is it okay for a Switch game to be $70? Discuss.
Yeah. I mean, I've got some strong opinions on this, which people probably won't reflect.
Yeah.
And I know you had some differing opinions on this than myself.
Well, my first thing straight away when prices jump is a reservation.
Yeah.
And I'm reserved because I feel like, firstly, that the Switch is not a current generation console.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like when the PS5 got boosted.
Yeah, so when PS5 games started dropping, you started seeing the £60-70 prices.
Yeah. They got bumped.
And the PS4 equivalents are £10 cheaper.
Yeah, they remained at the same price.
They remained at 50 or 60, depending on what the title is. And that difference felt justifiable because
next generation. Yeah, they've put more effort into it. It's better graphical fidelity and all that stuff.
And in my head, I love the Switch.
Yeah.
I do. But it is of the last generation.
Yeah.
And the games are kind of locked in that pricing space in my head. So when I see them breaking over £50 or whatever it is in dollars, I guess $60. When I see it going over that £50 mark, it's jumped over a psychological barrier that makes it feel expensive.
Yeah, and I get where you're coming from because it's not like this is the Switch 2 we're talking about.
No.
This is the same Switch from 2017 running a 2015 bit of hardware. Yeah. So I get what you're saying. It's like, why have they just increased it? It's not like we're getting more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. At the same time, they've only so far announced that it will be the new Zelda game.
True.
Yep. And it is obviously arguably the biggest game they will have ever released to this date and probably spent the most money on.
Yeah.
And are people going to buy it anyway? Yeah.
I totally get it. And one of the things we were talking about before is that games haven't really changed in price a great deal. So when we look back, I distinctly remember as a kid, Mega Drive games being between £30 and £40 new. So if you think about it, that's 30 years ago.
Yeah. And my example was I've got Doom 2, original box for the PC on floppy disk.
Nice.
And I've still got the receipt from WH Smith's, if you're in the UK, you know where that is.
Yeah.
Right. And in that, from 1994 or whenever it was, £50.
Unreal. So
you go through inflation and all that rubbish now, you're probably looking at 200 quid. For a game, that's like $250 for a single game.
Yeah, for Doom.
And they probably spent like a month making that. Yeah. Whereas now you've got like hordes of people who are spending years with new technology.
Doom that you can like install on a calculator.
Yeah, exactly. So I get at the time that was cutting edge, but like now the amount of money they dump into these games far exceeds these little games from the 90s.
Just as a quick aside, talking of Doom, I saw a thing on Twitter the other day where someone had managed to hack into a McDonald's menu
and put Doom on it.
Still Doom on it. That's amazing.
That is incredible. That should just be there whilst you wait. You can have like a go on Doom or Quake or something.
Duke Nukem.
That's it. I think it should be Quake, and then you could battle other people waiting.
Yes.
And depending on your order, depends on how much ammo you've got.
I like it.
That's something.
Anyway,
we should do.
yeah. I get it. And did you say Nintendo are... They're not. This isn't the norm from now on.
Well, okay. So people challenged them because of this. Everyone was like, "What? $70? 60 quid." And they said, "We will, basically review each game on a case by case basis." So they're not saying that every game is going to be this bumped up price. It's going to be per sort of game per case.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of understand, because again, Zelda is the biggest thing since sliced bread. It's not like some rubbish spin-off game that no one cares about, and all of a sudden it's 70 quid, or £60, $70. This is like the biggest heavy hitter that they've got coming. And now other games like the new Kirby game, well, it's a remake, but whatever, that's still at normal price. And I still expect most other games to be at normal price. But let's say we saw Mario Odyssey 2, that's hands down going to be the new price of $70.
The worrying thing, and this is me kind of like thinking forward, that I see from it isn't just that the price has broken this psychological barrier that doesn't exist. I've just made it up in my head.
Yeah.
£50 for a Switch game is the most you should charge. Now it's over that. I'm like, oh, it feels expensive.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo do some things incredibly well. They also are quite often victims of their own closed shop.
Yeah.
And don't do some things well. Does the success of what Zelda's going to be? Zelda's going to be a massive success.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's $70, it's going to be their best-selling game for a long time.
Yeah.
Does the success of that to them confirm that it's okay? And does it de-incentivize them to work on the next step? Does it even stop them thinking about the replacement to the Switch or postpone it? Because look, 10 million people bought this at $70, so we don't need to worry about it.
No, I think it's the opposite.
You think that incentivizes change?
They're testing the water to see if they can get away with Switch 2 prices all being $70 and all being £60. I think that's what it is. It's like, let's charge our best games so people know that they're going to get the best, And then when we drop the Switch 2 or the successor, then we could just put all the games to that price, just like PlayStation. But just to put a footnote here, right? There is so many respectable UK retailers. I don't know about US, but respectable UK retailers still putting this game up pre-order at normal price at £50 instead of £60. So that would be $60 instead of $70.
Here's a bit of 128KB advice for you. If you want to get the game, pre-order it now. Yes. Before the prices spike. We're talking about now as in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I imagine
they'll catch on quite quick.
But, and to be fair, I mean, because, I buy a lot of Switch games, I never pay full price for them. No. I never buy them at launch from Nintendo themselves because that's the highest price you can ever pay. I get it through another respectable seller, like a big chain. I'm not talking like dodgy eBay off the back of a van, we're talking like big UK companies, and I always get it for like £10 less.
And I'll say this about pre-ordering. We often advise against pre-ordering games.
Yeah. I mean, that's a general consensus, isn't it? Because you pre-order, look at Cyberpunk.
you end up being a paid beta tester.
Yeah.
But also, I've pre-ordered 2 games from Nintendo in the past.
Yeah.
And both have arrived after your day one orders.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it?
So Metroid
Dread.
I pre-ordered that.
So hyped.
I was so hyped for it.
I was so gutted for
it came a week after launch, not just a whole week.
I'm so glad I bought it from somewhere else.
The other one was the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Trilogy. Which I wish I hadn't bothered buying, to be honest.
That's why you don't pre-order games.
That's a really good example of it. It sucks so hard. Do you know what? And talking about it now, I still want to... There's still part of me that goes, I want to go back and play that.
I've not even played it. Mine came ages later.
Yeah.
I've never even loaded it up. I installed it. I
was even tempted to buy it for the PlayStation. I don't know why.
Yeah, no.
Stupid. The other thing about Switch pricing, there, going back to topic, is I spend a lot of time in game shops, as you know.
There's not one directly opposite here, is there?
We've not opened a studio opposite a game store at all. But primarily, I look at PlayStation games, and the prices of PlayStation games at launch is expensive, but they very, very quickly drop. So if you're not inclined to spend over that £50 mark,
you can wait a little while.
You can wait a little while. And I'm talking not even like a couple of months. Sometimes it drops very quickly.
Depends how bad the game sucks.
If the game sucks hard, then it drops really quick. But also the second-hand market, which is still huge for games.
Yeah, totally.
PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games, they drop significantly in price. You'll pick up a second-hand one half the price of retail.
Yeah, totally.
That's not true for Nintendo.
No, Nintendo games hold their value.
Firstly, they hold their original RRP forever.
Forever. They never
So
drop it.
if you wanted to go now and buy Mario Kart for the Switch, it's still going to be 40 quid.
And that game's 10 years old. You know, it
Yeah,
came
because
out, it came out on the Wii U.
isn't it? That's still £40 new.
Yeah.
If you go into one of those secondhand electronics stores, it's still like 30 quid in there.
Yeah. Sometimes it's even
sometimes
closer.
Sometimes it's more than new.
Yeah, true.
Because you can get hold of it right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's the weird quirk with Nintendo games. But Nintendo have always been like that. They've always held their value really well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that, I don't want to say it, but that they're more collectible.
Definitely are.
Like, you know, I know there's huge markets for collecting PlayStation games and everything else, but Nintendo games like tend to hold their value.
Oh,
you know, like
they are 100%
especially
more collectible.
You know, we're talking physical here.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it seems to be the way. And I think it's because they often do runs of games and then stop printing them very quickly. Yeah. Like, look at the Xenoblade games. Yep. Like Xenoblade Chronicles Torna, the expansion, they released it physically and it was like £20, £25 as a standalone thing. It sold out immediately and then it was scalped to hell, you know, and it was really, really expensive. And like years later, I tried to buy it and you're looking at like prices of 100 quid for a 20 quid release.
So that was the worrying part. And it's not something for Nintendo to worry about because they don't take part in, they don't care about the discount market because they don't need to. And they definitely don't care about the second-hand market because actually it's negative for them because they don't get any reaction.
Yeah.
But for us consumers, games going up is just negative all round, especially in the second-hand market because you're now going to be paying 50 quid for a second-hand game.
Yeah, and likely again, like the whole printing issue isn't going to happen with this Zelda game. Like that's going to be in print for a long time. So don't rush out and buy it if you're like just because you think they're going to stop printing it. That's not going to be the case.
I think you'll probably see Christmas editions of the Switch bundled with it.
Oh yeah, totally. You know, I'm still expecting them to release a Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED.
Yeah,
you know,
Joy-Cons.
You know, like the actual whole system because they've done it with everything else, and it would be very weird for them not to do it with this game, especially when it's the first actual Zelda game on the Switch because Breath of the Wild actually launched on the Wii U as well. You know, so this really is the first Switch Zelda game.
So is it the start of a new kind of generation of games on an old generation console, or is it the final swan song for the Switch?
Yeah, I think it's getting there, isn't it? You know, I truly think that we will see like a Switch successor in some shape or form announced next year. You know, and even if that's announced at the end of next year, ready for 2025, I still think we're very close to that, you know, barrier. And they were totally working on a revision that they've gone and done away with because of the whole stock shortages on chips and blah, blah, blah. They clearly were doing a Pro and then went, actually, we're not going to do that anymore.
There was too many rumours for it not to be true.
And I think that turned into the OLED, you know? I think that was meant to be the Pro, but because of part shortages, they just went, let's just stick an OLED screen in it, you know?
I'm glad they did.
I did.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic. I love the OLED. Like, it's a beautiful system.
Yeah.
But I think the next thing we see is the Switch 2. And I, fingers crossed, absolutely pray that it's backwards compatible with the physical cartridges.
It's gonna be.
And online too. Like the online benefits, you know, the NES, all those games consoles that you can get. I hope they just continue to build that and move that over to the new system so that we don't lose all these new great things like Game Boy.
I say it's going to be, but as we kind of touched upon on this, Nintendo do some really illogical things.
Yeah, they're random. They're just really absolutely random, and it's very weird. But I think they're trying to get better with that.
Yeah.
I really do think they've gone, actually, you know what? We need to align things a little bit more.
So, I don't know. It's $70 for a Switch game. I'm still not convinced by it.
No,
we've put up a good argument for it. But
I mean, and I'm there going, well, old games were expensive, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean I like it. I'm not saying because, like I said, I wouldn't buy it at full price. I don't buy anything at full price. I actively search.
Yeah,
because you know we don't get game keys or anything given by anybody. We go out and buy the games that we want to cover.
Yeah, so, that's aimed straight at you.
Yes,
game developers, Nintendo primarily. Yeah.
So you know, I've emailed you, but you just ignore me. So there you go.
What they do.
It is, but you know, so we're not like some big shots that get given it, and we're like, oh, we don't care about the price. It is we absolutely care about the price because we're just like you watching. You know, so. It upsets me that the price is going up because I've always seen Nintendo as the good guys, as like, you know, they're always been a little bit cheaper, But now really is getting into PlayStation and Xbox territory, and that kind of sucks. The good thing is they did say this is per case basis, and the thing that really makes me happy, even though no one's ever going to be happy with anything, but the recent Metroid remaster, Metroid Prime remastered, that came out straight away, digital price £35, physical pre-order £35. I bought it from a respected retailer here in the UK the day it launched as a pre-order at 29 quid.
That's a bargain.
And that is freaking acceptable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would pay 50 quid for that remaster.
Now, I'll say that they'll get away with it for Zelda, because Zelda would sell whatever.
Yeah.
They'll get away with it for that. And they'll probably even get away with charging for a deluxe collectible edition of some kind, steelbook, whatever, like £100.
It's really expensive. There already is one. It's insane. It's like 200 quid or something. Like, it's mad.
Maybe not that much.
It's expensive, yeah.
They'll get away with it, Zelda, because it's such a huge franchise.
Yeah,
and like you say, it's the first proper on that system for that generation. I don't know how many other franchise games they would get away with it at that price.
Well, Mario. Totally.
The new Odyssey.
Yeah. Metroid Prime 4 would definitely fit into that category. It would sell at $70.
I don't know what else. Would have Dread?
No, because people were arguing that the price point of that of being full price at £50 or $60 was too much being a 2D game.
Because they were arguing that it was a 2D game.
Yeah.
I remember that very clearly. But it's clearly not a 2D game.
No, and it's totally worth every penny of that because it's a fantastic game.
I'll stick my neck out and still say it's the best game on Switch.
Yeah, now the Prime 1's been remastered. Prime 1 and Metroid 5 are my favourite games on Switch. Yeah. I haven't even played Prime 1 yet. They're remastered.
But I don't know how many others they would get away with it.
No, I don't either. Kirby, nah. That's got to be cheaper because it's family sort of orientated. Yeah. What else do? They don't do F-Zero anymore. Mario Kart absolutely would be full price. It's been full price the entire, Mario Kart 8. If they release Mario Kart 9, which I think they'll wait for the Switch 2.
Yeah, that'll be
but if they did drop now, that would absolutely be 70 and that would sell all day long,
Yeah, they'd sell that for 70 for 10 years.
Yeah. Like they have done with 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't even think of any other big franchises that Nintendo do that are big, like big heavy hitters, like WarioWare. No, they wouldn't charge that.
It's too small, isn't it?
Too small and like niche, I can't, I'm probably being really stupid, but I can't even think. Pokemon, yeah. I mean, that would be 70, but that's yeah. I mean,
now, okay. So what? This is. I'm going to corner you a little bit.
Yeah,
here.
okay.
So we're saying games of that size, like Pokemon, £70.
Yeah.
The latest Pokemon that came out.
Yep.
So you've just paid £70 for it. How do you feel?
Ripped off.
Yeah.
I mean, I forgot to tell you, they're updating it. Everybody.
Are they? Great.
They're releasing an update at the end of this month.
Well done.
And one of the things they've done to reduce issues is just remove NPCs in Pokemon.
What's the point of playing it?
So the view distance, they've just reduced how many get populated in a certain area, which there wasn't very many of in the first place.
So it was quite a big sparse space anyway.
Yeah. And now they're just reducing it even worse to try and increase performance.
Oh dear.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's up there with Cyberpunk, that.
It's ridiculous. So, but I mean, to me, and I'm going to just be, on the other side here.
Yeah, got it.
Because Pokemon sucks. Like, it does.
Yeah.
But the game itself is really good. Like I've had so much fun. I've sank probably 70 hours into that game.
Yeah.
I've still not even, I don't even think I'm halfway through it. Because I've just gone crazy. Me and Christina playing co-op, love it. Doing all our stuff. We've been having great fun, even though I'm playing it at 5 FPS because it sucks.
Yeah.
Like it does, and it's really jarring. If you play something else and come back to it, it's like, oh god, like this is horrible. But then when you're actually playing it, you're like, the game's fun. But if the game was like it is now, but with way better optimization, it would be worth 70. It would.
Yes.
But currently, it ain't.
But I guess that's the point. Isn't it? But it's the point of any game. You always run the risk of it being rubbish.
Yeah. But you look at Breath of the Wild 1, which launched on the Wii U,
and
then came over to the Switch as a launch title. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's no performance issues.
Yeah.
It looks great. It plays great. And that came out in 2017.
Yeah. The best thing about Pokemon was all the memes that went around of people taking screenshots of weird renders and stuff.
Yeah, I've had some weird stuff going on.
It's
on my
amazing.
Games, Very, very strange. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. People are only ever going to be willing to spend what they're willing to spend, like.
And that's way back to the start of this conversation. Is there a ceiling for games in general?
Yeah.
Regardless of inflation and what we think about value, is there a ceiling to it? And is there a ceiling for the Nintendo? And have we hit it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the debate.
Yeah,
and be interesting to know what you think in the comments as well.
Totally.
Is there a ceiling to it?
Yeah. And I mean, you don't really get it with Nintendo games, but you do with everything else. You get the editions, don't you? So you get the standard edition.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the Nintendo games are just standard edition, unless you go collectors, and then there's a huge jump.
Yeah.
But on like PlayStation or PC or Xbox, you get like the base edition.
Yep.
Then you get like the deluxe edition, where you just get some in-game items, but it's like $20 more.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for that. If
Some
I know
DLC
I'm gonna
content,
I'm like, I'll do that. I'm like paying way more than I ever wanted to spend on that.
I know I definitely did it with the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
I definitely was like, I'll get the this collector's edition.
I am a hardcore collector here.
And you'll get the Cactuar materia. It's like, oh, yes, sweet.
Yes, I want that. And it costs them 3 cents to make. But you're getting $20 per person out of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I fall, short on that a lot. If it's something I'm really hyped for, I would absolutely dump more money than I would be willing to spend on a base version, just because I feel like I'm getting something extra.
Yeah.
But with the Switch stuff, that don't happen. You don't get Breath of the Wild Deluxe Edition for $90. Do you know what I mean? Like they just don't do that. So this is just like set price. There you go. So again, for me, I want to say it doesn't affect me because I'll just wait until it's reduced, or I'll find someone selling it for less. But it's frustrating that the whole price increase is happening. It's sad, especially like you said, when it's the same generation of system.
It just makes it harder to justify. That's all.
Yeah, totally.
But let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah.
Have we reached the point in which the Switch can no longer justify such high prices? Or is it fine for games like Zelda? Is it justified? $70.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to know if this starts a bit of a, argument. I like arguments on YouTube.
Yeah. Bit of a discussion.
Yeah. And whilst you're debating it with those other people in the comments, then why not actually just click on this video here and watch Andy debating with himself? You could call it a mass debate with himself. And I also do similar stuff here, but you don't get to see my face, so it's easier to watch.
That's fine. I'm joking.
So thanks for joining us on this week's podcast. We'll see you this time next week, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Can I get my sword out?
Nice.
Thanks.
Like it.
Yeah, I like it. Any excuse to show my sword off.
Yep, I like that.
I'm here to slash prices.
I knew that one was coming.